Okay, perfect. We can go live now. All right, so it's going live. We should see a notification pop up for this. So I'm gonna jump over to the stream, just double check, see who's here, and then we can get into assholes with opinions.
All right, yeah, all right, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, looks like it's on there. Sweet.
Kryptonic,
Nice.
what's
Awesome.
going on? Thanks for showing up today. This is the debut episode of Assholes with Opinions with special guest Dallas Alexander, who's a Michael Myers rehauler himself. Welcome, Dallas.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to be here.
So for anyone who's watching this, or for anyone who will watch this at a later date, this video is specifically to the Myers community, whether you're part of the Myers hobby of mask making or rehauling, or you're a collector. We're going to dive into our experiences in the hobby, how we got into the hobby, our experiences with not only the mask collectors of the hobby, but also people who just collect the merch and the memorabilia, and more go towards like collecting the movies and more movie knowledge. Or I think a majority of us still have a combination of both. So
Yeah,
Definitely. I got a good combination of masks and memorabilia and VHS tapes all smashed together.
Nice, exactly. I wish I had my collection in here. I would show it off. But so since you are our guest, well, first off, you guys, this is the first time both of you have been on this channel, so I want everyone to know more about you guys. They know me. I want them to know you guys. So, so your special guest, Dallas, go ahead and kick it off.
Thanks, guys. Well, my name's Dallas Alexander. I live in Michigan. I've only been doing the rehaul game for about maybe 13, 14 months, just more than a year. I started with tots, as many of us did. And then through about 8 months, 9 months of doing rehauls on different kinds of stuff, I tried to do at least one of every single tots mask. The only thing I haven't done so far is the K&B H2O. I haven't come across one of those where I was just like, let me just grab one of those. I've just never had the want to really ever do one yet. One will come across my bench eventually, just not yet. Mm-hmm. Then I saw the opportunity to buy the Babysitter Stalker Master, the formerly CDP Master. And I was like, well, do I want to jump into doing my own stuff? And I was like, well, why not? So I invested in that. I started making a bunch of molds, failed at a bunch of molds, tried more molds. It's just a big trial and error process. As I went through, a few months of that, then out of nowhere, a great guy named Nick Palmer, posted that he was selling his One Good Scare Master Mold. And I was like, okay, I got to jump on this. So I think I bought it within minutes of it being posted. And he had already had multiple people trying to contact him all at once to get it. And I was lucky enough to get a hold of him in the right time. I snagged the mold, and I've been working on that ever since. So I've been doing, rehauls, and then having my 2 mask lines that I'm slowly doing new things with. I just started doing Tramers on the One Good Scare, and those have been coming out really good. So hopefully I'll be rolling on some more of those in the future.
Nice. Very good.
Oh yeah.
And you, Trevor, who's going to be a regular on the show. This is a show that me and him are doing. We're going to be talking about different topics every week. But let's get an introduction to you. This is your first time on the channel.
Well, I'm Trevor. Obviously, you guys know me. I bounce around on Facebook and interact with everybody. I got into collecting pretty much about 2 years ago now. I really haven't been in the game for that long. Honestly, most of what you see behind me, I've acquired within the last year or so. Actually, wouldn't say probably the last 6-7 months. That's pretty much where I'm at now. I've got probably 16 Myers. I've got my Goosebumps Haunted mask, just a cheap Scream mask I got at Walmart just for the shit of it. But what got me into it was when the new Halloween was coming out. Everybody was hyped up about Michael Myers, and I was like, you know what? I want to get a badass mask, and then I got I got one of the cheap Tots H2 masks, and I was like, this looks like shit. I was like, all right, this sucks. And I was trying to figure out what to do with it, and I was bouncing around YouTube, looking at different people at different collectors and stuff, and I was realizing, I was like, wow, there's like better masks out there that I can collect, that I can actually get into with better accuracy and stuff. And then I met Jimmy Falco, who lives only about 20 minutes from me. Same with Nick Malpagano, Michael Faddy, and also, yeah, they're all like Syracuse-based area.
Nice.
And I met Jimmy, and we became like, we just clicked. And, you know, obviously we have a common love for masks and stuff. So every now and then I'm over at his place. He does most of the work on my masks. He's got about 4 of them right now. He's got my Dead Ringer blank, my Stretch Kirk, CGP Fear, and my 98 Shatner Dom Post that I got from Darren Perks. So yeah, I haven't been collecting for very long. I've been a lifelong horror movie fan. I've seen almost every single movie you could think of, from zombies to Italian horror to just pretty much everything. I've just bounced around, just explored different ones, just gained more knowledge, you know.
Awesome, and that's gonna help with this show is having that knowledge, because we're gonna be very opinionated in this show.
Oh yeah,
keep it to you guys straight, but respectful as well.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. So for anyone who may not know, I've been a part of the hobby for maybe a little over 2 years. I'm kind of a baby still in a way, you know. I've always been a fan of Halloween since I was 7 years old. Love the films. Always wanted a mask. It wasn't until like 2002 when Cinema Secrets started doing the Resurrection masks, and I think they started an H1 mask. It's when I really wanted to dive into this, but I never did. And then I guess some people can thank Trick or Treat Studios for kind of helping get them into the hobby in a way. They kind of were able to. I mean, I know Dawn Post came before and everything like that, but it's Trick or Treat Studios who had they're pretty nice molds. Some of their molds that can be rehauled and look very good, and I bought in them. And then I started seeing all these indie artists who started creating all these other masks, and then that have lineage to the Kirk and things like that, and that kind of helped introduce me. So now we have all these masks, like the DIY. Well, sorry, GKY, but the Creep and so many others, and then you have ground up sculpts like the Halloween Man, or sorry, the H-Man nowadays. So yeah, I've been only in here for a couple of years, but I've met a lot of great people. But with that said, there's a lot of people in this hobby that really
yeah. Oh yeah.
And the Myers hobby is so dramatic. And guys, I would be lying to say that I was not ever one of those kind of people. I've said some things, and I've that I probably shouldn't have gone that far and said, and then I kind of had to take a step back and be like, oh, you know what, I'm becoming something I never wanted to be here. And I don't evaluate my place,
Sometimes you just find yourself in that position, man. Like you see somebody getting like picked on or something. It's like, dude, like back the fuck off, man. And I don't need I don't know. Like I've gotten myself in those situations plenty of times, so I exactly know what you mean for sure. I'm pretty sure that's how my old Facebook account got shut down because somebody got a little too sour about what I said and just like report it. All right, whatever. New one. Wait about a year later. Whatever. I'll come back. I'll get your ass.
I'll get your ass. So this is a question for both of you. You can answer it in any order. What is it that you love about being a part of this hobby? But what is it that really drives you, mad? Where it's like, dude, why is this happening? Like, who is this? Like, who the fuck are you?
So what I love about it is the people. So like, guys like yourself who are on common ground. I actually see the hobby for what it should be.
Right.
But when it comes to the second part of that, like the what the hell is happening, right? It's mostly like usually for me it's like newbies, or it's like the collectors that just come crawling out of the woodwork just to fuck with people, and I'm just like, dude, shut up. Like, first of all, one of you doesn't know shit. The second one, where did you come from? Like, what are you doing? So like, yeah, it's just like it's a mix of things that kind of pisses me off. But for the most part, I have a pretty positive interaction with people. I'm always trying to hype people up, trying to inspire people to make sure not give up if they're getting frustrated, if they're getting pissed off at something. It's like, no, go at it again. That's why I try to bring like some sort of positivity into the hobby. But if I gotta get negative, I'll get negative. I don't give a shit. Like I'll stoop to someone's level for a minute. Just a proof point. I don't give a shit.
Nice.
All right. Well, my story starts off like the best part of it would be like learning what I know from Nick Malpagano. Nick Malpagano
Yeah.
is just, he's been like, he's a busy guy, but he takes as much time as he can for you when he's got a second to like answer a question or help you out, especially if you buy his, stuff and you invest in him, he'll invest in you. I bought
Absolutely.
his How to Make a Captain and Killer DVD set, and boy, I've been burning rubber ever since on making masks out of it. Going, you don't see people making stuff like that because this isn't necessarily the negative I'm going to mention, but just in a story about Nick is you don't have a lot of artists that give out their knowledge, who make stuff like that, who give people the foot in the door to do this kind of stuff. So that's just, I couldn't thank him any more than I ever could for, getting me started on this whole journey. The negative is one word, and that word is accuracy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do I hate the word accuracy. That mask isn't accurate. Boo, boo, boo. This mask isn't accurate. Boo, boo, boo. It's just a constant little nitpick fight of everyone's subjective interpretation of what the mask looks like versus the objective, just discussion about the mask that it should be. Like, oh, this is, I like these features of the mask, or I like those features of the mask. It's not that this particular indie artist's mask is just terrible. It doesn't look anything like it. People who just like stomp their foot on it immediately once it's posted somewhere. It's like everybody sees different stuff, so you're not the accuracy police. Don't be the accuracy police. It's the worst on the mm.net like actual forum page, but Facebook's all right. When you have more people, I think that can see that kind of stuff, so they'll usually call people out quicker on Facebook than on the michaelmyers.net forum post.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I guess so sorry to slightly off topic. Someone said that I'm really low. Guys, am I still really low? I think they said you guys are low. You guys sound great to me. Let me know if they're low, and we can get this fixed. Let me go to the chat. We have actually a good amount of people right now. So, welcome.
I can check my mic and see if I'm low. Real quick. Let me see.
Everybody kind of sounds pretty even to me. I don't know if we can just boost the master volume.
See, the thing is, I'm on like a cheap $35 mic. Honestly, I've been trying to get a new one lately, but yeah. So I don't know if I'm sounding low. I have no idea. But my mic's up. Everything's up.
It might be like OBS. I might have to turn that volume up in OBS. But let me know, guys, in the comment section how low or high we are, and I'll go and fix it. But welcome, Kryptonic, Toxic, Quentin, Miss Kitty, Shaped Killer Studios right here. Mike M. Lampkin, what's up, buddy? Toronto Freddy, what's going on? Chris Snyder, how's it going? Dave Vanderhoff, how are you doing? Let's see where we're going here. How's it going, Look Goalie? How's it going, Rand? How's it going, Joel Felon? Hey, Kyle, how's it going? How are you guys all doing on this wonderful Wednesday? We're halfway through the week, and today we're talking about Michael Myers, the Halloween franchise, and its masks and all things in between. So it's funny you talk about MMNet. So I used to be
I don't
part
even
of
visit that shit, man. Just for the gallery, just like if I'm trying to like make up my mind of what mask I want, I go to the gallery. That's about it. I go to the forums for like the classified. That's it. I don't even check them damn forums. Like, no, I'm good. That's toxic.
Well,
that's like right there, dude. No thanks.
Yeah, it's toxic.
Well, I mean, so I agree. So when I left MMNet, the actual Facebook group, maybe close to a year ago, maybe. And I told myself, I was like, I'm never going back here again. I'm never going to do it. And one day, I actually, I think it was probably like a month or so ago, I actually went back. And, I just want to check it out to see if it had changed. And honestly, it's not as toxic as it used to be. And I'm actually quite surprised. I'm a little blown away. But yeah, that's like the epicenter of troll. It's like Troll Central there, at least it was.
Yeah, I keep it at an arm's length, and thank God I got pretty long ass arms for someone that's sick too. So that's like, no, I'm good, thank you. Facebook's bad enough, man. Like, I don't even want to go. Like, I don't have to go to another site for that bullshit. I'll just go right to Facebook if I want to see some bullshit going on. Like, I don't know.
I only use the website mm.net for the fact that I just want to have an archive of like the progress that I'm making on this. And I feel like Facebook can delete stuff here or there, but I kind of feel like when it's on the michaelmyers.net website, unless the website gets hacked and completely like taken down, you could potentially find that for years to come. You know, like 20 years from now, there might be some kind of record on forums of like what happened with this mask. So I kind of feel like it's just like I have to go through all the crap of that place just to like, you know, keep a record of what I'm doing.
And you're referring to the forum, like the actual website, right?
Yeah, the website. The Facebook pages, I don't try to like post too much for. Like I see a lot of like memes get posted here or there. Like it's just like the content in the michaelmyers.net subreddit or in the Facebook page is sometimes just so like crazy and like what it is. So I don't like check it too often. I mostly just, you know, post announcements for my shop or something. But I mean, I don't know, like out of the what seemed like 14-some thousand members, it seems like there's only like 50 people, you know, like that are ever active doing anything.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
well, because it's just that everyone realizes the drama. They just kind of like become withdrawn. Like I know many people that have been posting lately, and they just kind of realize it's like this shit's toxic. Like this is like wearing down. Like so for like a lot of collectors, like people like I can't imagine as an artist like how discouraging it could be sometimes with some of the shit that goes on. Like I watch as a collector, I'm like, Jesus, man, like chillax, like relax a little bit, man. Like just doesn't need to be like that.
Yeah, you know what the worst, like maybe not the worst, but one of the worst things that is a part of this hobby, of whether you're a collector or a rehauler or you're both, is that when you post your work or you post a mask you just got in the mail and you're fucking pumped about it and you're super excited and
someone's
you post
right
a picture
on it,
and then someone's laughing emoji right on it and they're like, oh, that looks like shit, or they just talk so
or they hijack it. Hijack it. They'll hijack your post completely. And like, oh, you know, I just got this great Handy Boy Dead Ringer mask, and they're like, yeah, but look at my nag, but bam, you know, like,
yeah, look at my GC
and then it becomes a nag post. You know,
it's like, I was just simply trying to show my shit off, man. But all right, whatever you guys want to do, go ahead, fight each other, whatever.
It's one of those things where it's like you have to make your post so that people can't comment. You have to turn commenting off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that shit sucks. Yeah. And like you go to Michael Myers buy, sell, and trade. Is that what it's called? That's not the Halloween market. It's the other one.
Yes. No, yes.
There's like 10 of them, dude. It's fine.
And like
there's like the traders and collectors one, and then yeah, something like that. Like whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the one you were talking about.
Yeah. So
yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
They're starting to defer away from posting like items for sale, and now you just see people who are just posting, "Hey, here's my mask. I just wanted to show you." And then you'll just get people who are just laughing emojiing it like a motherfucker. And it's happening. I mean, it's annoying how ignorant people are in this hobby, but it's all. I don't get how. I mean, I just feel like people get a little bit more ballsy when they're behind that screen, you know.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Keyboard warriors, man. Nothing worse. Nothing fucking worse.
It's sometimes it's also like hard to like tell when somebody's just being a really good troll. Like you see those mask posts that are just like, what is this? Why would anyone post this? Why would this be considered like postable in any, like, why would you want anyone to lay eyes on this? And I kind of like, that's something I realized as an artist is like, you have to be able to recognize your own bad work so you can like improve on that. And I feel like I see so much stuff and I kind of feel bad, but I don't know if it's like if me feeling bad is just a false feeling because these people are just trolling, you know, with their crappy mask posts. So I kind of want to offer help, but then I'm like, well, are they even really doing this, or are they just being an asshole? So
yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's hard to engage with anyone on there because you don't know if they're genuine.
I find it that some people, or a majority of people in the hobby, I won't say a majority. A majority is a pretty big amount. A good amount of people in the hobby, they don't know how to be honest without coming off like a prick.
Yeah.
It's like there's a difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism, you know? And if you want to critique me in such a way, please message me in private and tell me, hey, you could do better with the hair. Here's a tip. And I'll take that. And I don't see enough of it.
Yeah, I remember, yeah, I think the first time we interacted, like I messaged you, like like telling you about like how to make like your hair process easier. So like, yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
like I wasn't trying to be a dick. No, I just didn't, like I just didn't want to like just say shit in front of anybody because it's just like, you know what, like I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to, help anyone else out. It's just gonna be a prick about it. So whatever.
It was the first time I used or attempted to use mohair, and or maybe the second time. I was talking to Dallas about this just last night actually, mohair.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I've used it like 2 times, if that. And I was talking to you, Trevor, about like, dude, this thing keeps getting wavy. It's looking like shit, man. Like, what can I do? So I got some tips, and that's the thing that's what's great about the hobby is the people who do want to help, and they actually care, and they're not just trying to trample you. I see a lot of people, and this goes out to rehaulers only. The amount of people that try to stomp on or get on top of, they're not there to help. They're just like, I get like you don't want to share your secrets. I understand that, but you do it because you're terrified that this person will be better than you. And I think a majority of these people need to be in competition with themselves and not in competition with everyone. Try to be better.
Yeah.
Don't worry about looking at JC's piece or Nag's piece. I'm not trying to name drop. It could be anyone. It could be James Grimm's piece.
Yeah. No, that's all right. No, you got a great point. No, for sure. Absolutely.
You
like you got to find your own way, basically.
You also got to be completely aware when you're looking at stuff like that. Like, I would say more than 50% of your impression of any particular mask is based on the camera that takes the photo.
Very sure as well.
So, like, if I spend, $3,000 on a camera, it's going to take some damn nice photos of even some maybe crappy masks, and you're going to get it in your hand, and it's going to look a little different, There you go.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why, like marketing companies spend so much money to get the best quality photos, just so it makes it look more appealing. You can take a really crappy mask and take some, like really nice photos of it, but it works vice versa. You can take a really nice mask and ruin the look of it with some terrible cell phone photos. So,
yeah,
it's about, like, there's a lot of like high profile artists out there, sure, but a lot of their work comes through in just the, the post, what does it look like when it's done and when I've taken photos of it,
Right.
We all pretty much do the same thing. It's
kind of like McDonald's with like Big Macs, basically. Like they look delicious on the damn sign, but once you realistically look at it, I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. Like I said, so
yeah, I mean, we're not
shit. I think shit, but it's not gonna be exactly what it looks like in the picture because they made it look all pretty. Like it's just the way they worked it. That's all. I'm not trying to talk shit. And like I said, like I'm not comparing a sandwich to a damn mask, but it's like I'm just saying the whole process of that.
And that's another thing that like comes up a lot that I'm sure like James hears a lot is that people want us to replicate other people's work, and you can't do that. It's not to say that it's not something like ethically you could do. It's just really not possible to replicate someone's mask process. We all have our own ways that we mix our paint, the way we mix our latex, the way we do our hair, how
every
we do
process
everything.
is different.
I mean, the mask is, functionally the same. Like we all end up with somewhat the same end product, but we all do, a crazy amount of different ways to get there. So, a Nick Malpagano mask isn't going to be a James Grimm mask. Isn't going to be my mask. Isn't going to be, Falco. Isn't going to be a JC. They're all going to be different, and we all have to learn that like we're not out as like collectors to only have one mask.
Yeah.
We're collectors because we want to have a bunch of masks. So I want to have a 78 from as many artists as I can, because they all have their own interpretation. They all have their look. They all have their like ideal, like photos you can take with them. So why do we argue about whose masks are better? Because we all buy them all anyway.
It's funny you mentioned just a moment ago. Oh, go ahead. What was that?
No, you go ahead. No, that's okay. Nope, you're good.
I was just gonna say it's funny that you mentioned that, Dallas, about the amount of people who want your work, and then when they say, "But I want it to look like this guy's mask," and some people can interpret that as being some slightly disrespectful. Now, there was actually a post on MMNet the other day that I had to comment.
There was one on Facebook I watched you interact with too. I was observing that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where it's like, do rehaul artists take offense to people requesting other people's kind of work? And I kind of respectfully chimed in and said, I wouldn't do it. If you want that person's mask, then get their mask. I don't care if it takes 3 or 5 years. If you want their mask, then you're gonna go get their mask. Don't say, James, can you do my mask like this guy over here? Go to that guy if you want his mask. You can get the James Graham Deluxe, or whatever the fuck it is, I'm sorry, I'm no one else, dude. Like there's so many artists in this hobby that are way better than me. I'm still green, man. I'm still new to the thing.
If any of us could paint and hair like JC, don't you think we'd all be like either rolling in it, or we'd all be broke because no one would want it because it's not special?
Right.
We have entry stuff for beginners, and then you have your high-end niche really high-end masks, and that's the way it is in anything. You're going to have shoe collectors, you're going to have cheap shoes you can buy, and then you're going to have $1,000 shoes you can buy. Not everybody can buy them. You can buy something that looks like those, that's cheaper, but you're going to be disappointed with it ultimately. It's the same way it comes to making masks. We're not, we don't all talk to each other about our methods constantly, so we all know what we're doing. So it's not like we could even try to replicate somebody's stuff.
Right. And a lot of these guys, there's I know nowadays there's so many rehaul artists, but there's those guys who've been doing this for a decade or more, when you look at people like JC and Nag and a few others. I'm not sure how long Falco...
Chris Morgan, dude, he's been in this for a long time.
Chris Morgan as well. I don't know how long Falco and Malpagano has been doing it, but I'm fairly certain Nick's been doing it for a long time.
Nick's been in it for over almost 20-something years.
And then Freddie Loper, all these guys have been doing this for so long, so I get why people go to them, because they've been doing it for so long, so they have their shit down to a science. But yeah, don't come to me and ask me to do someone else's work.
Also, please. Just something if I can interject about people being picky about things. Also, just realize that when we're doing something, if you have ideas of what you want your mask to look like, you don't have to contact us constantly. Formulate your thoughts into one message. Send us the details. What do I want? Don't change your mind a bunch, because we have to get things lined up, and if you keep changing your mind on what you want it to look like, we can't get a good ground on anything. We have to plan on what we do, and we can't do anything last minute changes, I put the hair on, but now they don't like the hair. They want to change something else. So you just got to know what you want. So, and it comes to go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're sorry.
Oh, it's just I get a lot of people. I don't know if you guys get a lot of messages about stuff, but it's people who seem like they want to order something, but don't ever end up ordering anything. They want to go through the whole process, and take an hour of your time talking about masks, and they're never going to order anything.
They're window shopping.
Yeah, window shopping. And I got to get a website set up for that, because I'm just going to send everybody to a website so they can just look, and then I don't have to keep explaining myself every time. But it's just if you don't have any intentions to really order something from us, don't start a conversation that you can't go any further with,
Yeah.
I can't say I haven't done, when I was starting out, I am kind of guilty of that, whatever. But most of the time when somebody messages me about it, it's I understand, they want to know the quality of when people saw my Warlock, I had a bunch of people message. They're like, oh my God, what'd you ask for? I was just go as screen accurate as you can. That's all any artist I go to, anybody Roland Kelly with my H2SM, anybody else Terry over at CGP, I just told them screen accurate. Just go as screen accurate as you can. Except for the Warlock, I told Terry to just make the hair a little more have more of an orange tint to it, and that's about it. That's it. Boom. That's it. And that's kind of how
you should trust your artist.
It should be if you want it. Just say screen act. They'll do it. They have millions of reference photos. I've been to Jimmy's shop. He's got a bunch of photos. Nick, they know what they're doing. Just that's all you got to say.
It never bothers me when someone says, I want something that looks kind of screen accurate. I can make it look screen accurate as possible, but we
Yeah.
let's be honest. Like, how many actual reference shots do we have of the hero mask from the first film that we can really go off of? There's not a whole lot. There are some.
They didn't catalog stuff like they do now. Like nowadays, you're gonna get props that are literally photographed, like every single angle, so they can be replicated. They weren't thinking of that in the 70s. They're like, crap, we need a mask. We need one in 45 minutes. Tommy, go get at it, and they had it,
It's very rushed, really. Low budget film. They had a time schedule, to get this done as quick as possible. They didn't know what to do, so they just did this, did that, boom, boom. Here we go. Here we are now.
They weren't thinking of like what would this mask look like any second beyond when they needed it. That's what Tommy. I remember you guys saw Sean Clark's video where they converted that. He's like, we were thinking that this mask needed to last as long as we needed it to film with, and then we weren't considering anything else after that. It could be thrown away after that. They didn't care.
No, they beat the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
Man.
So like, they didn't bother to like, hey, let's get some really high quality photos of this. No, it was just BTS stuff that people were snapping, and they just happened to be, like decent enough pictures where you actually can see any detail because we're lucky enough to get those at all.
Or color enhanced.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We had ended up getting a super chat. So thank you so much, Luke Goalie. He says one thing that I have seen is that some people don't pay attention is that the right lighting makes Michael Myers look scary. So, lighting was everything for the film.
Yes, that's a major thing. That's a big thing. That's what a lot of people don't get is all just lighting. And lighting's a huge, it comes as a big factor when it comes to like taking pictures, even like with just taking pictures in the film. People think like that they gave them the coveralls are different color, like because of the lighting.
Well, it's not even that. It's lighting and post-production because they do so much stuff to these movies in the end where they're gonna, like, that's why the coveralls keep changing, in colors between daylight. They're gonna do all kinds of stuff to it, and it really depends on each release that we're looking at because the DVD release gets this transfer, Blu-ray gets this, and then they're gonna change some things here or there, So it's just it always changes. So we're never gonna until we get the definitive anything in our hands, like if I have the hero mask in my hands, I have the hero coveralls in my hands, we'll never know. We'll never know.
So apparently now, I don't know how, this is what I've seen. So Sean Clark says that the coveralls were absolutely blue. He says he has images that I guess never before seen images or maybe rarely seen images of what the coveralls actually look like, and apparently they were 100% blue. Now I haven't seen those images. I have to do more research on it, but I always thought they had like maybe it's olive wood green or I don't think it was.
I've had
kind of grayish.
I've had
somebody
every single color.
Somebody released something. I don't know where it was. It was an old Sears catalog. It was all the catalogs of all the colors that they had around that time because a lot of colors weren't around, like spruce green, stuff like that, like all the extra colors that we see today, they weren't around that time. And I think only navy blue and gray. It wasn't like specific like charcoal gray, you know what I mean? It was just regular gray. It was just regular navy blue, and that was about it. So it could be possible. It could be, absolutely.
Yeah, I've had like different brands, different colors, like try and get matched. Like I had a pair of Montgomery Wards that were olive wood that were really close in photos. I've had, Big Macs. I pretty much have, I actually just use red caps now. I have my Gristle box, like red caps.
I have a pair of those too. Yeah. I was actually talking with
they're
Brad,
like the best coveralls, man. Like,
unfortunately, my fat ass kind of outgrown them, so they just kind of hang around. But at least I can say I got a pair of them. But yeah, I was actually talking with Brad. That's his name. His name's Brad. I'm sorry if I kind of like, blew that up. But his work's great. Yeah, I was actually chatting with him last week with him and Chris Morgan and a couple other people. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, and I've got. You guys know Connor Patrick. I've got him.
Yeah.
I've always got him on the eye for my 46 tall trade wares. If that ever comes in, I need those baggy OGs, but they're so hard to find. He's like, it's probably going to be a while. I'm like, well, I'll wait around a while,
It's all right. No, he's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's nice to be able to get, something for sub $200, a gristle box that looks as good as it does,
Oh,
and
yeah.
being able to still source the originals. We have so many options for coveralls, and then you could even get the TOTS stuff. The TOTS is good enough for entry-level people. Like, if you don't have a lot of money, they'll do just fine in low lighting like it's supposed to be done.
Do you
Yeah,
see
because
this?
not everybody like us like pays attention to detail. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
So for those who do cosplay, I glanced at the comment section and I see some people discussing cosplaying. I know that a lot of people sell those their Vietnam style boots, right? That was used in the first one.
Jungle boots.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jungle
the
boots.
jungle
You
boots.
can actually find those on Amazon right now for less than $40.
Yep.
That's where I bought mine.
You
I
sure
bought
can.
them. I actually have 3 pairs of jungle boots. I have I have 2 of the olive pair that are like the screen accurate color. One's distressed and one's clean. And then I have a black pair of jungle boots for my Brandon James cosplay from Scream the TV series.
Yeah, that's sick. Awesome shit.
Nice.
Let me jump in. I think some more people just joined. Yes. Welcome, Filthy Dan. Welcome, John's World of Geeking. Welcome, Cecil Vane. Welcome, Max. Welcome, Good Real Hunting. Welcome back, Vanderhoff. Welcome, Movie Chat. And
I like that name, Good Real Hunting.
Yeah,
That's good.
Those guys are awesome.
I like
Those
that.
guys
That's
are
good.
Alexander Wilkins, how's it going? Welcome as well. Thank you so much for being a part of this live stream today. We are discussing the Myers community, hobby in general, kind of masks, collectors, people who just enjoy the films. We haven't really dived into that part of it yet because I feel like there's so much to discuss with the mask side of it. Because
there's so much, man.
They could be here for a day or two. Just
like I feel awful for my girlfriend sometimes because she has to hear about like all the shit. Like I just express, like I just tell her about all, and she's just like just so lost sometimes. She's like, I can't even keep up. I'm like, sorry, like I'm doing my best.
It's hard, dude. I mean, there's like drama everywhere. There's clicks here and there's clicks there, and it's like I see too many people not wanting to. I feel like there's so many people who say they want to build this community and make it better, and actions speak louder than words. Like, don't just say it, do it. And I see a lot of that.
Yeah, like I said, that's what I try to do. Like when I see people up and coming, like sculpting something or they're painting, I hop on. I try to inspire them. Like Dallas a couple of times has lost his courage. Like he's lost,
Yeah, we all get there, man.
Yeah, and I've like hopped on. I'm like, nah, man, keep going. Don't stop. Like this shit gets hard. Like people run into these, these roadblocks, and like everybody goes through it. Everybody, like rehauling, like and mask making. Everybody goes through that. Everybody. Yeah. So you keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Bro,
but
there will be
other
times...
people I can cry shit about.
Also, though, if you guys are doing rehauls, the best advice I can give you is know your worth. I think right now the rehaul market is so dead. It's so dead because what did we see going up to Christmas? $50 full rehauls that like so many people were trying to do, like new artists are trying to do. Basically, they're just trying to price, like swipe us, like, well, why would anyone want to come to any one of us to get a high quality mask and then go to anybody over here and just get one for $50?
And that's a shitty thing. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a shitty thing.
So just kind of floods the market with a bunch of people who just don't know what they're doing, charging subpar work, and I saw free rehauls. Like, how could you even like give your time away like that and work for nothing? Like, what are you doing? Like, I can't get rehaul orders because people come to me and they're like, well, why is your rehaul, like over $100? This guy's doing it for $50 or $35. I'm like, well, because I have to work to do this and I can't give away my time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you guys got lives. It's like people think like some of these, like some artists like dedicate 110% of their life. It's like, no, people have wives, people have kids, people have family, people have shit to do. It's like, some people, they just do this for a side thing. Like, it's not a full-time thing. Like some people, if they do it full-time, good for them. But, there's a vast majority that don't do this full-time. And people get all pissy about it. And it's like, well, what do you expect, man?
Yeah, it's like
I don't know. I don't get the impatience. Like, I'm patient because it's art. Like, it's really just art. Like, it's like, you gotta wait for it. You want good quality, or you want shit quality. You want a rush process like Tots, like they send their shit to Mexico, get a quick paint job, boom, 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 slap some hair on there, boom, you got a shitty looking mask. Whereas you have somebody that's taking 4 or 6 months, there's a reason, because they're trying to make sure you have the best of the best, or try to at least make it look like you got the best of the best.
Yeah. So I both of those topics real quick that you guys touched up on, the wait times and the low cost of rehauls. All right, so I'm gonna be very honest with both of you. I am guilty to both. I'm not gonna name anyone here, but I was supposed to get a mask. They said it was gonna be 6 months, and 6 months became 9 months, and I'm like, damn, this is becoming almost a year, and I kind of became a little impatient. But I was always professional and nice and everything like that. Now going into the low rehaul thing, it was last year, or maybe it was my first year of doing rehauls. I dropped the price really low so I can get more work under my belt, because I felt so noob, and that's why I wanted to do it. Because at that point, I'm not really making any money, because the cost of paint, the cost of hair, shipping, things like that, I'm not really making money. But I know what you're talking about, Dallas, and I know exactly what the intention is behind some.
Well, there's a difference. There's a difference in doing it because you're doing it for the experience versus somebody who's doing it just to make money real quick with somebody else's mask. And, I feel like if you're doing a $50 rehaul and you're including shipping in that, you're making what, $30?
If that.
Pennies.
So what kind of materials could you possibly use? I mean, you see a lot of low quality stuff. There's a difference in being I'm a competent artist who's just running a sale for $50, But then there's one thing of I'm only starting out, and I shouldn't even be offering rehauls yet. I should be doing more practicing. I should be buying my own masks. Buy a 78, do it, 6 times. Strip it, paint it, strip it, paint it. Just do it a bunch of times, get proficient with it. Then when you feel like you have a product that somebody would really want to buy, then come out with, $75 or $100 rehauls. But when you get into $50, $40, new people who come to our world see those prices, and that's what they think that the prices are. That's not how it works. That's just the low end of the spectrum.
Right.
They then those are the people that blow up when they see a JC mask sell for $1,200. I'm like, well, it's kind of because that's sought after for that reason. It's a really good piece. A lot of people want it. So you're not going to be able to get, a $50 rehaul to look like that.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Just one second. I saw someone pop in the chat. A couple people. I'm going to say their names, but welcome Aaron Silvera. Aaron Silvera. He's a really good friend of mine. I've known him since high school. Me and him been in a couple bands together.
Oh wow!
So
all right.
It's great to see him here. So thanks so much for joining, man. I hope everything's going good where you're at right now. He recently just moved out of the town that we both live in, and hope all is well with you and your family. But welcome, and then Antonis, welcome. Art Wishwood, welcome. Wow, a lot of familiar faces and some new ones in here. This is great stuff. I'm glad that this is what the Myers community can do. It can bring us together. It's great stuff.
I did my best to advertise, so
I just posted us. I just made a post just a bit ago with YouTube. I tagged you guys, so just to let you know. So hopefully that gets some more traction. But yeah, going with what you said, Dallas. Yeah, I see exactly what you mean. And so with that, the know your worth thing. So I'm not gonna name. Oh, welcome, Robert. How's it going? I'm not gonna name drop anybody right now, but
go ahead and say it. Don't say the name. Just go ahead and say what you gotta say, bud.
So yeah, I know someone who said, know your worth. So they decided to up their prices. And when I say they up their prices, I mean they're upping their prices, dude. Why am I gonna pay that much?
All right. So here's my problem. This is where I'm gonna bite this real quick.
Cool.
So, like Dallas was saying, with the $1,200, the JC thing, that's what that's fair. But what I don't agree with, this is where I'm gonna be a shithead for a second.
Do it.
The $2,000 mask when the mask is a $60 base. Now, if it's a neg or something, that's worth a high price because the blank itself, you're gonna be in the triple digits for a blank from neck. You're going to be. There's no way around it. So stuff like that. Okay, if it's from an indie artist, they got their, it's a high quality latex. It's not gonna be taut. It's not gonna be something that it's gonna deteriorate in the next couple of years, whatever. That's fair. That's fair to pay like $1,500. High prices like that, because already like you're paying a lot just for the mask itself, and the rehaul serves, all that shit, all that good stuff. But when it's like a $60, it's like, it kind of kills me a little bit. It's like, I'm not saying the same quality work, but I'm saying like, I can still get that mask rehauled and painted up looking good for much cheaper. And it's just my personal thing. I'm not shitting on anybody's work at all. Like I said, I've told many people many times. People have gotten in arguments with me over like JC's work. I love JC's work. I would love to own a piece of his one day. I just don't agree with the people that exploit his name a little bit too. They slap his name. They think it's James Carter. People are gonna pay $3,000 for fucking mat. It's like, dude, come on. Like, now you're just looking like an asshole. Like, now you're just exploiting people's names.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jimmy Falco made a post not very long ago, like stating that, like calling it out. You know what? Like, I agreed with him. Like, people, like, in some cases, a lot of the names are being exploited to jack up the prices and bleed collectors dry, and it's wrong. It's bullshit. Like, I just don't agree with it.
I'm with you 100%. When you take a $60 mask and you try to put it up there for $1,000, knowing that, like,
that's crazy.
Like,
that's crazy.
I'm not even trying to talk.
Now, there's difference between that and being like, oh, like, it bids up to that. Because I've seen, like,
that's one thing.
Nick Valpagano's Tot 78.
Yes.
Those were good fucking
yes.
masks.
Yes.
And if they naturally bid that high, awesome.
That's okay.
But
that's fine.
If you're just slapping it up on eBay, a Tot
and you're flipping
78,
the mask and shit like that, like you're flipping them. You're not even collecting them. You're just flipping them. Like, you're gonna do that, dude. Like, go sell weed or something, bro. Like, why are you gonna do that?
I try and keep almost all the masks that I can. How many people buy those JC masks, own them for a week, and then sell them right off?
Yep.
Yeah, just want to flip them quick.
In some people's cases, it's like an emergency pops up. Like,
you can
like
do, but it's just like,
that's understandable. That's understandable. But if you're flipping it, like, it's noticeable that you're flipping them. Like, I'm seeing your name, like, every so often, and you're flipping a man. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say it. You're an asshole, bro. Like, you're ruining it. You're ruining it for people in this hobby when you're like increasing the price margin for a mask, like, dramatic. Like, you can't even put a number on it. That's like how dramatic it is.
I mean, honestly, the prices should go down based on how many different people touch it. Like, between every person who owns it and the condition that they keep it in. I mean, we're not all keeping it in the same, manner. We're not keeping it in cases. We're not keeping it in the same temperatures.
None of mine are in cases. So
you're going to take a $1,200 mask, you're going to put it on some shelf. It could turn into a $600 mask in a couple of months because maybe it starts to rot. So you only got, a few years left with it, and then the lifespan goes down. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's nice to think about, like, these things can appreciate in value, but mostly it's going to be like cars. They're going to start losing value once they get into the hands of the first owner. Because they're going to do stuff with it. Yeah.
We don't know how well enough they clean the inside, how much they wear it. I just recently recently I saw a picture of someone who said this is what happened with age to my mask, and it was like a creep or some mask, and it just that the eye holes were getting big, and it just rot was setting in, and he only had it for like a couple years, and I was like, fuck, dude, like that shouldn't happen after a couple years. You don't take care of your shit.
When I was younger, maybe like 10 years ago, I had an old Don Post 06 that was one of the first, like, not, economy Myers masks that I could get my hands on. There was no Tots masks. If there was Rubies, they were awful. Rubies should never produce another Myers mask as long as they're in production. Please, Rubies, don't do it. Just don't do it.
I'm pretty sure Rubies is in charge of making the Slipknot mask for the band, for their merchandise, not like obviously their fucking stage use masks.
That's weird because I mean.
No, hang on.
I don't mean to throw so much shade at Rubies,
they actually don't look too bad.
Yeah, some of their stuff, like, from back in the day, like their Myers work didn't look good at all, and I don't know how Falcon publishing let them have the rights to it. I guess there was no TOT, so there was no alternative to, you know, like producing these at a large scale. But
I'm surprised Don Post Studios never got. They never they came out with a mask, but they couldn't call it a Michael Myers mask. They didn't have the license to call it so. They didn't have the rights to call it so.
The mask. Yeah.
And I'm very surprised. They're kind of like we gotta thank them basically in a way for their Captain Kirk mask. Like if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have Michael Myers. We wouldn't. We'd have either Evan Kelly or Spock.
Or Richard Nixon.
So. Yeah, or Richard Nixon. Yep.
And I sent you that picture earlier last week, James, about that Chris Morgan has the Don Post 99 two-piece mold. That's a good get, and
that's gonna be good. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit on the Zoom chat he posted. It was like a last minute. It was like a very like pretty quick Zoom chat that he posted up, but it went on for like an hour and a half. We were like just shooting the shit, talking about it and stuff. Yeah, that thing is incredible. Like that is the. Yeah. And we were just talking about like all the like other people that put them out and stuff. And his is just gonna be incredible. That thing is like just detailed to a T. To a T. That thing is nice. Like for sure. Like if I had my 98 here, like I'll look at it and just be like, this is ridiculous. I'm not saying I wish I didn't get it. No, but you know, I kind of wish in some places it was a little bit more detailed, but for the most part, a 98 Shatter is actually not that bad. It's really not that bad of a looking mask. It's great for an H2 finish. That's what I'm having done on mine. That the Jimmy's gonna be doing on mine is an H2 finish, and I'm like super pumped for that.
And some people don't know this, but I believe there's two different molds. There's the Darren Perks 98.99, and then there's another one that's on eBay that's slightly different. It looks like it's stretched slightly in the face.
And that's the one that's got the latex like already filled in like the eyes. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like they're not like the eyes. So. Like Darren has his already cut out because that's who I got my blank from was from Darren Perks.
Yeah, I need to get one from him.
And his was good. His was nice. There wasn't any bubbles or anything, but from those ones that you're talking about, like the ones I was just mentioning, the ones that had the latex still in them that aren't cut out. Those ones I see like there's a loss of detail, like there's like almost no detail on them, mad air bubbles, and not knocking whoever's doing it, but
see, like detail's a big problem because like when I was starting to do this, like I was trying to figure out how do I want to produce my mask. That's why I went with Nick Malpagano because he does the plastic molds. I've been able to have, like crispy detail in every single mask, and I don't have to touch UltraCal or HydroCal or plaster every,
That's how I would do it. Like, yeah, because I was watching your method, like Nick, and like how you're doing it too. Like, I was like, you know what? If I was ever gonna make masks, I'd do plastic too. That seems like such less material.
You can only do it on like simple forms, but like. For Myers masks and like realistic human forms, it rocks exactly what you needed to do.
Yeah, Nick mainly, all the stuff is in plastic molds.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you right now, man. I've worked with HydroCal before, and it is the messiest shit, dude. I have like this piece of this Rob Zombie mold over here that broke actually because I'm producing a Rob Zombie mask soon called the 07 Slayer, and So I have this 100-pound bag of UltraCal over here just chilling, and it's just messy. It gets on your clothes, and you have to it gets stuck on your clothes, and you have to throw them away. And then if it gets on your carpet, it's on a carpet laid down in my garage, dude. Like I can't get that out. Like it's stuck there. It's just messy, and I want to work with plastic. I don't know if it's like the vapors are harmful or not. Like I don't know how that works.
Yeah. You just have to like always work in a well-ventilated space when you're working with any kind of like mixing chemicals or anything like that. But as long as you're smart about it, it's fine. You can make a mold in a couple hours if you have everything right handy. And if you nail it, that's the one thing. You got to nail that, your first print coat. And then you got to make sure you're not getting bubbles in between layers. If you pay attention and you're on top of your timing, you should have good molds coming out every time. The HydroCal, UltraCal had the benefit of you can repair molds on the inside if there's something that goes wrong with it. Sometimes you have like small air bubbles on the neck or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can fill them in. You really can't go back in and fix a plastic mold on the inside once it's done. If it's damaged on the inside, you pretty much have to start over. because you put any extra plastic in there, it'll show like a big mark, wherever it was patched.
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude, I've tried. So Chris Morgan used to have the the WMP 7 2.0, and then I think he sold it. I
Yes.
bought that master
I think
2 years ago, and I first time working with Hydrocal, or was it Ultracal? Either way, it's one of the cals. And yeah, so I pulled the one piece mold out of the Ultracal mold, Hydrocal mold, whatever. And dude, there's so many dots everywhere. So then I went in and patched it all up and was like, oh sweet, dude, I fixed it all up. So I did a latex pour. Day later, I pulled it out and it's just like, dude, it looked, dude, deformed like. Chris warned me.
It's so hard.
Chris was like, "No, you're gonna have to just redo the mold." I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna patch this up." And I'm not listening to the guy who's been doing this for a decade. What a fool I was, because I should have just listened to him because I wasted a day. It sucked, man.
When it comes down to like my products that I use, I have for every one mold that I have 2 that didn't turn out. I have 2 babysitter stalker molds and 2 OGS molds that are either flawed or have something wrong with them where I can't use them. It's like it took me like 3 tries on every one to get one that was good enough to use because these things are picky. But I'll never need to make another one ever because it's indestructible. I can drop it on the ground. I can do whatever I want.
How
that thing looks super light too. I think it looks like light as a feather. He's picking it up like no ease, man. I was struggling at Jimmy's last summer trying to pick up a mold, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
This one is probably this one's probably like 2 pounds, maybe even if that. It's basically just a plastic bowl. I mean, it's just a shaped plastic bowl. I could eat fucking breakfast here out of this damn bag.
And that's why I don't get why people talk shit about plastic mold, man. I'm like, dude, that thing looks like you could just like easily like just pick that up, work with it. Like it's just
good for
I don't know.
casting.
The details are insane.
Yeah, so like it's infinitely easier to work with. It has its downfalls. Like you can't dry as evenly as you can with a stone mold because this isn't a porous material, so it doesn't leach air out through it. So getting the ears to dry is kind of a pain in the ass. Getting the tip of the nose to dry is kind of a pain in the ass because there's no way to wick air out. I have to use a fan just blowing in here, and if that first layer isn't completely dry, it doesn't matter how many layers I put on top of it, it just locks it between here, and then it'll be wet forever until I take it out, and then I have to fix it. So stone molds are better because then you don't have to worry about things like that. Your poles should come out dry every time. They just may have tons of stippling on the face, lots of defects, things like that. I've never had those on this, ever. I just pull it out, trim the neck, start going. I don't have to do anything else to it.
That's pretty cool. We got a couple more people who just came in here. Cosplay Michael Myers, how's it going? Movie Chat More, welcome back. How's it going? I hope everything's going well. Future Snake, how's it going? Tall Story Studios, what is going on, Zach? He is co-directing and director of photography for My Special Boy, which is a Friday the 13th fan film, which we hope to release next year.
I can't wait to see that, man. That's gonna be good.
Yeah, dude. Oh man,
I've been touching the Friday the 13th series lately, a little bit.
Dude, ever since the box set released, I mean even before, but since that box set released, it comes with so much extra material. I've been kind of like just hooked on the franchise like nonstop. Plus, I'm working on a film for it, so it's just been like a nonstop Friday the 13th marathon for me.
James, I'm gonna have to get a copy of that I can boot to a VHS because it's the only way I watch my Friday the 13th. It's on tape.
We'll have VHS available.
Okay, then I'll have to get one of those because I've got I have a boot of a few of the fan films. I'm trying to find some of the most prevalent ones on their like actual releases. They're really hard to track down. They were like super limited. But I want to have like VHS versions of all of them because that's the only way I watch my Friday the 13th. Is I got my whole original tape collections.
Oh, dude, hell yeah, that's sick.
That's sick. That's really awesome, man. Me and my girlfriend have been talking about bringing a VHS player down here because I want to get back into like collecting like the Goosebumps tapes and like stuff like that. Like all the old horror movies and stuff. Because I used to go to Blockbuster. That's really what sparked my interest in horror. Like when I was little, my mom used to take me, my brother and sister at the time, to Blockbuster, and I would rent like horror movies. That's literally what sparked it. I went to Blockbuster. I saw all these cool ass movie titles. So I'm like, oh shit! Like just
The
started
box art,
renting
too.
them. I was like, wow. Oh my god, man! Yeah, some of them are incredible, man. Like the old Universal monster films. Like they had some incredible posters on it. I was like, holy shit, man! It
DVD
just
art
draw me to
is
horror.
nothing like VHS art. DVD art is so commercial, and it just
Nope.
mostly shows the actors. Like VHS
Some
box
people
art
just don't get it.
had to sell you. Like it was, they were dying for rental, so that art had to be like something like everybody wanted to pick up.
Yeah.
And it worked, man. I mean, it worked for my, when I was like 7, 8 years old. Like, yeah, it worked. So good for them.
I pulled out some stuff. My best tape for Halloween is the 1981 media release that I have.
That's awesome.
Is that
that shit's sick.
Is that the first or second edition? I think I have that one.
This is the second edition. The
Okay.
first edition. Well, there's actually a couple of different editions. There's an original, like 1979 edition that's a lot of multicolors on the front. It has like a blue and white border. It's a lot more retro than this one. There's a white cover version of this, and then I have the black cover version. But I don't watch this very often. This is the one I usually break out on Halloween night and watch the oldest copy of Halloween that I own on that.
Yeah, man, that's a goldie right there, man. I don't blame you.
And I have probably 8 different versions of 78 on tape from different releases and everything that they've done, because they're all slightly different. Like one thing when it comes to like quality wise, I prefer the tapes just because I think that they make the movies that much more interesting and nostalgic and scarier. But one thing I didn't notice until I watched it when I got the Blu-ray or like the 4K copy of 78 when it came out on 4K Blu-ray, the scene, the speed or Hey Jerk Speed Kills scene when he's driving past them on tape. When he drives past in the car, you can never see, like, it shows the car going by, but you see like just like a figure. You never see what he actually looks like because the quality is so low. Yeah. And then like it wasn't until the 4K release that I could actually see him and see his mask. You could see just the eye holes looking right at you, and it just like gave it a whole nother level. So it's like there are some things you miss, but these old ways of watching them are just like, I think, probably the best ways to watch them.
Yeah, especially like the was it the wrench that's in his hand as he's putting it down and then he hits I mean, we've always been able to see it, but on VHS it's a lot less clear. Now you watch it on 4K and it's just like that's a
you see everything.
It's a wrench in his fucking hand. Yeah,
it was never they never intended that.
So Chud's Corner is in here. Welcome. That is going to be playing Jason in My Special Boy. So welcome.
Shit. All right.
How's it going?
Hello.
Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we got a lot of people just coming in and saying hi, man. This is fucking cool, man.
Man, this is hitting off pretty good, man. This is good.
Connor just came in a oh, what's up, man? Another familiar face. How's it going? Yeah, man. We're discussing the Myers hobby, and we haven't really touched up on the film very much, but we're starting to dive into that a little bit. One thing I noticed with the Halloween films and is the how opinionated that side of the community is. Like they're so like if you like Halloween Resurrection, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate Halloween Resurrection, but I'm not gonna call you a piece of shit for liking it.
But you'll watch it. You'll watch it.
I watch it a couple times a year. Yeah. So like that's the thing is I noticed like if you say you like Halloween 3, they're like we didn't have Michael Myers in it. That movie's fucking trash. It's like
well, no shit, because Halloween wasn't even supposed to be Michael Myers after age 2, so eat shit on that.
It's
I hate it. Like saying like people are like, oh well, Michael Myers wasn't it. Well, if you look into the history of Halloween, like really, John Carpenter didn't want shit to do with Halloween 2. He just did it because he was getting paid for it.
Yeah,
it's basically like he was like Stone at the time writing the script. That's why like some people find Halloween 2 shitty. I love it. That's my number one favorite out of the whole franchise is the 1981 H2, just because of everything in it. But what little people don't know is it was supposed to be like, kind of like American Horror Story in a way. It was supposed to be an anthology series. It wasn't supposed to be just Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Michael was supposed to die in that hospital, but because of the demand for Michael Myers to come back, that's why they made H4, and then they brought him back.
Yeah. So, now that you're saying H4, I'm sorry, this is off topic. This is kind of going back to the mask thing. Have you seen that new H4 cover mask that's come out recently?
Yeah. Sure have.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So where that thing kind of came out of nowhere, right? Like,
I ain't saying shit. Nope.
what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's gonna blow. Oh man, it's there's gonna be some pissed off people. I'll tell you that. But it's amazing. It's amazing. Like Chris Morgan wasn't even aware of it until I mentioned something. He was like, "Holy shit!" Like the accuracy on it is just amazing. Like just the details and everything. I love it. I'm definitely getting a copy of it when it's not on eBay and going for like $1,000. But I gotta have that mask. I have to. That thing is gnarly.
It looks really good. So this person, do you think that name is that a real person?
Google it.
Google that person.
Yeah, Google him. Jerome Howard. Google him.
Oh, so that it's a real person. So it's not a pretend alias or anything.
I mean, it's an alias, but it is a real person.
I have some suspicions.
Sure is a real person. I'm going to tell you who who Jerome Howard is. It's Curly from the fucking Three Stooges.
Yeah.
That's his real name.
I have suspicions, but we're not going to talk about it on here. We'll say that behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That looks great.
It's a great mask though. Like, dude, this thing it's a game changer for sure. Like, this thing just came out of left field. Like, it's a game changer. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't wait to own a copy of it one day when it becomes more, when they start getting cranked out more, not really scarcely on not YouTube, but eBay. Les Dixon actually bought the first one. I talked to Les a lot, and he was like, "Yep, one." I was like, "No shit." I was like, "No way." And he told me it was like 1,000. So I was like, "Holy fucking shit, dude! That's crazy."
Is it?
But the artist I did,
or is
I'm pretty certain it is. I'm pretty sure.
No life cast? Do you think?
I like I said, I have no idea. Like, I can't say a whole shit. Like, I don't know, like, to the extent of like the detail, if it was ground up, if a life cast was used or what.
Mm-hmm.
But it just looks fantastic. Like, it, not to talk shit about Dag, but it kind of blows that one out of the water a little bit. I was actually going to get a cover mask from Nag, but I chose to go with the Stretch Kirk instead because I wanted a solid look in H1. But everyone was like, "Oh, go with the PS7." I was like, "No." I was like, "I kind of want something more detailed than that," so I just went with the Stretch Kirk because that thing is spot on. That I'll give Nag. Like, that one is amazing. That one is great. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to actually have it in my collection. But this cover mask, this new one that just came out, this thing is a game changer. For sure.
There's another one.
Like, good luck topping that.
There's another one too. Remember, was it 2 years ago? It was April Fool's. There was a mask that someone previewed. It was on April Fool's, and it was like.
It was the Id.
Is that what it's called?
The Id by James Mangrum.
Yes, the Hebrew. I actually knew about his identity before he got revealed. Someone else told me what it was. I'm not gonna tell who it was that told me that, but yeah, they told me that it was him. But I wasn't gonna spoil it. But yeah, man, I remember that. I remember that whole thing was between him and Nag. They were kind of like, he was like challenging Nag, and I was like, you know what, this ought to be interesting. That one was pretty cool. That one's good. But the Stretch Kirk, I think that thing is more detailed. It's got a lot more details to it. I'm just really excited to get my copy back from Jimmy when he's done with it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I want one. I've actually talked to James very briefly, about prices and things like that, and it's definitely something I plan to do in not the near future, but in time. Maybe this year, or not this year, 2021.
Yeah.
That would
like
be
I want to own a James Carter piece. Like, I'm just waiting until the right thing comes along, and someone's not charging fucking a decent car amount for it.
A car payment.
Yeah, man. Like, it's like some of these people are like charging like what you could pay off your rent for like the next 3-4 months. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like,
if you're California,
I don't know.
I like masks, but I don't need masks that bad to spend that kind of money on them. Like, That's why I make my own, so I don't have to spend $1,600 on that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Cobra Dojo, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, "What do you guys think of Tots masks?"
They're good for $60. You can't beat a $60 mass-produced mask like that. Like, I don't look at it. Tots non-Meyer stuff is whatever. I mean, it just depends on the license. It's usually pretty solid. I look at Tots Meyer's mask. It's just you're buying a blank. Unless you're going to, only collect the stock stuff. Which if that's all you can do it.
Yeah, more power to it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that your collection isn't something that you shouldn't enjoy just because it doesn't have a certain dollar amount attached to it, but. Tots masks, they're mass produced, and you should expect to get a mass produced product. We all lived through the 2018 mask photo debacle. We all remember that, right? When Trick or Treat Studios released their catalog,
I just fall for it though.
And the 2018 mask came out, and they had the photo of the finished 2018 mask.
Yeah.
And everybody thought they were getting that, and then they started showing up in stores, and they were like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Well."
Same with the Tots H2 mask, man. Like, I got duped myself. Like, I went on Amazon, I got that shit, and I was like, "All right, well, fuck me, I guess."
Yeah, it's like
joke on me, man.
Tots is not immune from a marketing department. They're going to put their best foot forward to make you want to buy something. And that's how they have so many people buying stuff from them. Mm-hmm. I mean...
Well, it's mostly like just people who aren't into horror like we are. Like like I said, we know the quality stuff. We know the accurate stuff. It's mostly for people who are your average Joe that doesn't know shit about like Halloween accuracy. They just want a mask. They just want a mask. They just want something to dress up with. And Tots, unfortunately, not saying really like in a bad way, unfortunately, but there's really now other companies you can go to. They have the main foothold on a lot of things, like the Halloween series. They got the license for that. Plenty of others too.
It's at least better than Ruby's. Like, it's a step up better than Ruby's.
It's
like,
definitely
as far as what you're getting.
Like Treat Studios, I guess I'm gonna have to admit, like, yes, they're kind of like the new Donpo Studios, just not as
professional
and
detail oriented.
You can say what you want to say about the leadership at Trick or Treat Studios and how they've come to, build their company or whatever. But like, I have to say they built their fucking company.
Mm-hmm.
They're Trick or Treat Studios. Like, everybody knows who they are.
I'm not going to talk shit or dispute that at all.
Like,
but there's a lot of practice that's misleading.
Yeah.
They do a lot of practice that are very misleading, like the proto copy photos that they do with, like, the nice looking stuff that they prim up looking nice and crispy, and then you get your shit product and people are pissed off about that. I think what they should do is like be realistic. Like, listen, like, you're getting a $60 mask. Like, it's not gonna be the most accurate thing if you're a collector. If you're somebody that's like very detail oriented about it, like that's somebody that's looking for accuracy, I think they should post like a straight up like something that is off like the assembly line. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't deceive people like that, because like the newbies like myself, like when I was starting out, like I was all hyped up, like this H2 mask was gonna look like something straight out of the film. I got it. The paint was dark as shit. The paint was white as hell. I was like,
yeah,
all right, whatever. But like
everybody entering into this field has that moment. They have their quote unquote come to Jesus moment when they open that box and they realize it's not what they ordered, or it's not as good as what they expected it to be. And then that's when they go digging into rehaulers and finding out, can I do anything with this? So they look up YouTube videos and figure out how to do it themselves.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Tots is Tots. They're, a mass-produced company, but even if it wasn't Tots and it wasn't Ruby's, if it was somebody else who got the H1 license, it's not like they're going to all of a sudden churn out any better masks than Tots or, anybody else really could do.
No.
I mean, they're doing what they do on a scale, that's, able to be mass-produced, so you're only going to get a certain amount of quality.
Right, yeah. I mean, basically, like the mass-produced masks, you're sending them to Mexico. These people are just working to make a living. They're not working to like basically be detail-oriented like you guys who make masks and like rehaul and stuff. They're not paying attention. They're just making sure they get paid at the end of the day for doing what they got to do. That's it. So that's the unfortunate part when it comes to mass-produced masks. Like, they get outsourced to places where it's like, it doesn't even matter, like, the detail of the quality of the paint or the detail of the mask itself. Like, it's so rushed of a process that, it sends out. It's going to look like shit.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the fence, because it's one of those things where it's like I see it from before I was a rehaul artist, and I see it as now. So I have to thank Trick or Treat Studios for allowing them to sell masks so cheap that so many people send their masks to me, and I'm making money here. So it's kind of enabled me to kind of get into the hobby, and it's helped me a lot.
Hey, more power to you, like I said. Like, hell yeah.
Marketing wise, I mean, it's nothing I would do if I owned a business, but you know what? They're successful regardless. They're going to be successful for many years to come. And as much as some people like myself or you or whoever doesn't like it, like, that's just how it is. I mean, these masks...
know, like I said, we know our quality. Like, we know the quality stuff. We know like all the artists that make the stuff that's not could be top quality.
Yeah.
So.
And about that, though, is like those both ends have to exist. You have to have the high end and you have to have the economy. If you don't, there's no community.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't.
I was introduced from a cheap mask, and here I am now with so many indie masks. Like if it wasn't for Tots, like I said, I don't talk shit about Tots too much, because if it wasn't for Tots, I wouldn't be where I'm at with collecting. I probably wouldn't own a lot of masks. I wouldn't know shit. So it's like.
Yeah, there's low, mid, and high end collectors. When you look at Tots, it's if you just have a stock Tots in your house. I mean, it's a low end collecting. If you rehaul it and make it look nice, because they all have potential to be nice masks. They're good molds, sculpts. I mean, then you're starting to get into the mid. But then you go high, you start getting JC pieces and Nag and then Morgan and Ramby and whoever else.
Yeah, but say like the H5. We all know what the Tots H5 looks like. Yeah. But with just a little work, the Tots H5 can look amazing.
It's awesome.
Amazing. So it's really like you just have to know what you're buying, be realistic when you're buying something from a large company, and if you want to have something more accurate, you're going to have to wait. You're not going to get accurate right now. If you could get accurate right now, none of us would be doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
pretty much. But I gotta use the bathroom like 2 seconds, fellas. I will be right back. Like, I'll make it as quick as possible. Just give me 2 seconds.
Handle it. Go for it. So, Dallas, I have a question. So that's the H5 from Tots. So did you? Because theirs don't have a nose appliance, like kind of like sculpted in, from what I remember. Because I've only done one.
Well, it's slightly there. I think that they did slightly sculpt it in, because there are certain details that you can see in like the right paint. And with the stock paint, it's so like it has so many different colors. Like it has like white, it has gray, yellow, it has blue, it has green, yellow, like all different kinds of like speckled colors onto it.
Yeah.
So it really hides a lot of the stuff. There's 3 marks here that I didn't notice on the neck, and then they match the same 3 marks that are on the mouth. And they're actually on the movie mask. I found like some photos, so it's like there are details that I didn't even notice until I repainted it. But there's a slight, I can find like sculpt mark that's just on the nose here. It doesn't seem to go underneath the chin at all. But when I was painting it, I did notice that there is a slight mark, that there's a sculpt mark in there. I don't think it was supposed to be like super pronounced, but I could definitely see it.
That's crazy.
I want to get one of those like nice H5 masks with the proper nose appliance to do. That's going to be a goal for next year.
Oh my God, I have a story for that, dude. So I'm talking to Brad Harden, and for anyone who doesn't know Brad Harden, he was in Halloween 6, and he was one who co-sculpted the mask, and then he also played Michael Myers for a scene or so. So I got this SSN behind me, right? But then I also get a KNB with the nose appliance not attached. I thought I could attach it myself. Well, I tried to. The reason why it's not on camera because it looks like shit. It warped, like the nose appliance warped onto the mask when I was trying to dry it with latex rather than using an adhesive. And dude, I don't think it's salvageable. So
Oh, you could probably fix it. There's got to be a way you can fix it.
It looks
We'll
all
have to talk
lumpy,
about it.
like around the where the appliance attaches to.
You might have to like, you could maybe like put some extra like thicker latex and just paint it in layers to like even out the bumpiness in there. You'd have to build it up and see if you could maybe like fix that, or you might be able to remove the appliance. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that, you know, like
the left
usually you
proper
can
eye.
fix stuff.
I messed up on the left proper eye as well.
I mean, it's an H5 mask. It's not supposed to look like completely perfect. Like, if you want, if the nose and stuff isn't exactly how you would want, then try and make it look like the hero is today. You know, make it look more aged and decomposed. So it's supposed to look kind of saggy and weird. You know, like
yeah.
I mean, it's not ideal for the sculpt. I like though, like that being an SSN sculpt, because that's what I've got. You got the H5, I've got one of their unreleased 78/Kirks from Sean.
Clark, yeah.
Let's go.
What about Brad Harding got a hold of those molds? The SSN and the K&B.
I don't know. The K&B would be easier to like figure out if he had ties directly to the movie. Since it was Greg Nicotero and all that stuff, like I imagine the K&B molds would just be easier access because it's being, you know, like he's closer to the set, working on like props and stuff. I don't know about maybe like when Sean was just closing down, maybe he was just selling off stuff that Brad may have picked it up. You'd have to ask him about it.
Do you guys know the story with SSN, like how they had access to all these molds?
No.
Because, like, from my understanding or what I've been told is, because this is the only SSN I've ever came across, it's much smaller. Now, from my understanding, they had a majority of their molds were movie molds, like from the actual film. So, but I also heard stories where he got permission to use the mold. I never really understood the story behind that. Like, is it an acknowledged recast that was okayed by the person he got it from?
I think he had gotten, because Sean Clark has a collection of like screen mold masks, like the ones that he showed off in his Myers collection video. I think maybe the H6 from H2O is an actual screen used mask. The rest of them are from the actual molds that were on set. So he has copies of the same mask that they would have sent to set for those particular films. Hero masks. There's the 178 hero. There's supposed to be 2 more stunt masks out there somewhere. We don't know where they are. The H4, hero. Do we have any idea? That's floating around between conventions here or there, right?
Which one?
The screen one of the screen used hero masks
from the
for H4.
Oh, H4. Yeah.
For H4.
Yeah.
There's a stunt mask that doesn't have it has a lot of weathering on it, and it's really has a lot of flesh tone on the face and stuff.
Yeah.
But
that goes to Tots has that at their convention because one of the guys, I think, I don't know if he works for Tots or he's just friends with them, but when I went to Halloween 40 Years of Terror, it was on the Tots
table.
Yeah.
And then Don Shanks has got one of the H5s.
Yeah.
I mean,
that one got worked on because that thing was
it was restored. Yeah, it doesn't look exactly like it, but it's better just to have it restored for the sake of it existing than rotting away completely.
Yeah. Movie Chat Morris, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says, so easier to find a quality Jason mask than a Michael Myers mask.
Materials.
Yeah.
Plastic's cheaper than latex. I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
A hockey mask isn't necessarily a copyrighted shape. I mean, a lot of people sculpt their own and then they'll vacuum press them, things like that. But plastic is a pretty cheap material to work with versus latex, where I'm spending almost $200 for a 5-gallon bucket of latex.
Yeah,
$200 worth of plastic would go way farther, for making hockey masks. And I would say that Jason's mask is easier to make and replicate, but not his overall image. Because you got a lot more pieces depending on which Jason you're going, whether you're getting a hood and a neck piece, or you're getting really complex, hard to find clothes, or, like accessories and body pieces. It's almost the opposite with Myers. You put almost all your money and your focus on the mask, and then it's just a jumpsuit. It's one thing, it doesn't really matter. Like, he doesn't have a lot of extra stuff. So Jason masks are easier to find and better quality, but finding Jason hoods that fit you, that are, gonna last, things that are comfortable, those are things you're gonna have to find out, because it's not just buying a Jason mask. It's so much more.
Yeah, I agree, because you put a Jason mask on, your fucking hair is all out and shit, you don't look like Jason. Michael Myers covers your head. Yeah, you spend what, $60 per gallon, right, of latex? Monster Makers?
I don't see. Well, quick little thing about Monster Makers. So they dicked me around for like 2 months. I bought a 5-gallon bucket of latex that was like over like $200 shipped, because I wanted to get here stat, because I needed it for projects. I opened that shit up. It is water thin. Water thin. I put 5 layers into one of my plastic molds. It was no thicker. 5 layers of latex was no thicker than a latex party balloon. Like, I pulled it out, and it was just like the thinnest thing ever. So I called them. They didn't pick up. I left them a message. They never responded. I sent them an email. They never responded. So they just kept $200 of my money for a product I couldn't use. So after trying to figure out what to use to make it, like, is there a way I could thicken it up? I couldn't find anything definitively to do so. So I had to shell out even more and buy Black Lagoon latex, which I really like. The Black Lagoon shit it's thick, but I like to be able to knock it down exactly where I want it for my plastic molds. If you buy something that's too thin, it's really hard to go back. So being at like a really nice, like, thick consistency, I could dial it in exactly the project that I want to do it with. But Monster Makers finally got back to me after like 4 months, and they sent me a clear, like, 16 ounces of it's just like a labeled liquid that's just like 16 ounces latex thickener out of complete nowhere. It just showed up one day, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got a problem? Here you go, thanks." So
wow.
Monster Makers, like, for new people getting into the hobby, do your research on the customer service of these places. Yeah. Like, Monster Makers is good to start out with sculpting kits. I have, like, the Ed head that I use is for Monster Makers. A lot of the clay that I bought was from Monster Makers, but their latex, totally different story. So buyer beware on that, because their customer service, at least to me, wasn't great. But it's quality is everything, and you're gonna pay for good quality latex if you're making stuff. You're making any kind of mask, like, you're gonna pay to get good stuff. If you cheap out, your masks are only gonna last a couple of years, and you're either gonna have angry customers because their stuff rotted away in 12 months. Congratulations, you don't have what you bought. Or, you use cheap paint, cheap glue, cheap whatever. I see so much of it.
It's going to start cracking. I don't know. I'm not going to ask you what you do, but I hear a lot of people say that for anyone in here who wants to do Michael Myers masks, I know that I get asked so many times a day how to do these things. You're going to hear a lot of people say the 1/3 method, water, latex, paint, and honestly, it's never worked for me. So I don't do it. I actually just eyeball it now at this point.
It's kind of a thing where it's really based on the equipment you're using and based on the air compressor you're using. Does your air compressor have a setting where you can change it? Because if you're using more latex, you're going to need a higher PSI to spray it through there. Yeah. If it's not something you can adjust, you're going to have to thin it down, and then it's going to be super watery, and it's just going to run down the mask.
Yeah.
And you're going to either have to start over, or you're just going to keep going over that anyway because you don't know any better. So it's a good rule of thumb, but that's only if everybody was using the same equipment, which no one ever is.
Yeah. I go cheap, man. I
With-
use this central, is it pneumatic air compressor from Harbor Freight, and then I just use like this right here.
Yeah, I have a similar one. When it comes to like advice to where to start learning making masks, if you want to make Myers stuff, you know, you're gonna like seek out people like Nick Malpagano.
Okay.
He's got, you know, tutorial stuff on his website you can download on how to do that. If you want to learn how to make anything else, you know, like unique stuff, one-off stuff, look up a guy named Alan Hobbs of Stiltby Studios. That dude is just giving out information left and right about how to do molds, masks, props, you know, anything. And it's all online. The dude is crazy busy. He does live streams and he'll answer like damn near any question the dude can. He's like one of the most giving guys in the prop community that I've seen.
He's the admin or mod of Latex Math Central, right?
He's one of them, I think so, yeah. But the dude is just a great guy. And if you're wanting to get your foot in the door doing, if you don't even want to do Myers mask, if you want to do his primary thing that he does is haunts, and he does like props for haunts and haunted attractions, things like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can learn a lot from him. You can learn how to make some really cheap, really cool stuff, and then that even can translate to doing your own projects. It can translate to doing Myers masks. You can use his recommendations for tools. I've got some of the tools that he recommends. It's really good stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Luke Goley, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, after My Special Boy, what will your next film be? And that's a great question. I do want to go back to Michael Myers. I mean, I do, because I feel like my first two attempts were shot on cell phones, and you know, I didn't have a team of filmmakers. You know, it was just a team of people who just making something for fun. With My Special Boy, it's much more we're taking ourselves more serious. We're shooting with actual equipment. You know, I think, you know, we have an actual effects artist, an actual composer, and so on and so forth. Cinematographer and such, and actors and actresses who act. They don't just, they're not your buddies that you get in and then they pretend.
Yeah.
You know. So I want to revisit Halloween, but I really want to do a Phantasm fan film. But I already have an idea for an original film called Internal. And essentially it's this guy who suffers internal struggles he battles schizophrenia, and he gets hired on by a team of aspiring filmmakers. And what they don't realize is they hired on a guy to play their lead character who picks them off one by one and kills them in real life.
That's good.
Yeah, I can't dive too much into it, but yeah, that's kind of like
Back burner project for the future. That sounds good.
Yeah. I've been wanting to make a fan film of some sort. I had this idea like not too long ago. A friend of mine was playing Resident Evil 5, and I was looking because like on like loading screen stuff, it like shows like basically like it's like a timeline of like all the stuff from like the T virus and stuff being created in like the 60s and stuff. And I was thinking to myself, like, what if there was a Resident Evil film that took place in Vietnam, like during the Vietnam War?
That'd be
interesting.
Like, because there was a lot of like CIA operations that happened during that time, so it's kind of like in my head, I was like, well, that would easily happen in Vietnam. Like experimentation stuff. I was like, you know what, like that's kind of an idea I kind of want to keep to myself a little bit. I was like, in case like something I ever go forward with, I was like, you know what, yeah, like that's a great idea because nobody's ever done that from what I can see. Like nobody's ever done that.
That's pretty cool. That's very interesting. That would be pretty dope, actually. I can picture that.
Because there's files and stuff, like if you look at the game closely, like a lot of stuff like happens in like 1968, 69, like, you know, I was thinking like during like the Tet Offensive and stuff, like something crazy going on, like Resident Evil type, like some sort of like umbrella, like doing experiments during that time because everyone's like so occupied with like the regular like mainstream Vietnam War, but they don't know about like the Black Ops stuff going on behind the scenes, like behind like all that shit.
Some real Call of Duty zombies, fucking Black Ops zombies.
Yeah. But just more Resident Evil oriented. Like it fits in the storyline of Resident Evil, like all the beginnings and shit of like the T virus and stuff.
That'd be really interesting. Yeah.
Nice. Luke Goley, thanks for another super chat, man. I really appreciate it. He said it would be awesome if you made your own Michael Myers timeline. Well, we kind of did.
It's hard.
So what we did for like my first two like little things that I made on a shot on a cell phone, of course, was I've had a lot of people say, well, why is there Halloween posters up on your wall if like Michael Myers is in this universe? So without explaining very much, we never really explained this very much, but so Michael Myers was a real person. My character was obsessed with the character of Michael Myers in the franchise. We never really dived into that. It was just, I don't know. But I was obsessed with that, so we actually have scenes where we're going to have me in the workshop, and I was working on masks and shit like that, and I have the posters, and so Michael Myers was a real kid who got locked up in 2003 and broke out 15 years later in 2018, and that night he escaped from Smith's Grove, and we were unfortunately the people who were in his path, and yeah.
That's an interesting take. Like that's not a bad take on it. That's pretty original. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've had an idea like floating around because I suck at writing. I've tried writing and shit before. It's just I'm more visual on like the directing side if I can do that. But one Myers story that I wanted to do was based around. We all know the H2 has the association with the Mr. Sandman song and how iconic that is. I wanted to do a version that kind of like cements a new song, a new oldies song in that. It's an old song called I Will Follow Him. And the idea is that Michael Myers randomly attacks Haddonfield one Halloween night, and one female survivor essentially goes crazy, and I'm trying to decide if I want to go to where she's like crazy in love with him or just crazy obsessed with him. But she basically tries to seek him out because she assumes that because he didn't kill her in their first encounter, that maybe there's something special about her that he likes and that he won't kill her. So it's just kind of like thing where she's like, she wants to find Michael, and it's not kind of like almost like a reverse Final Girl where like where they're not running from him, like he's out there just doing something and she's trying to be put in his path, in different ways to see what he'll do and how he'll react to her. Ultimately, she would just be killed, but I kind of like the idea of like, you don't have anybody really trying to find a serial killer. They're always trying to run from them. And like having like that, like crazed, obsessed, like Netflix kind of, person with that kind of personality going after him that wants to find more information about killers and all that kinds of stuff. That'd be kind of an interesting movie.
Almost like how Dr. Loomis was always like one step behind Michael, while and he wants to be ahead of Michael, where she's kind of trying to do the same thing, but it's not because she's trying to stop him. She just wants to. She has like an infatuation with him.
Yeah, it's like she thinks that like if she gets in front of him, that he won't kill her, and maybe she could change him and stop him from killing. Because there's something unique about her. And then it just ends up like, it's kind of a spoiler, but we all know what would happen. Michael would just like look down at her and then just stab her, and she's like, "Why? I thought I was gonna be the one." Like, no, you're not the one. You're just a crazy person, like
just a crazy fuck.
Like it just like maybe like doing something like that. And I also had like an idea like way back in the day when I was in film school that I wanted to do like a sequel more to Halloween 4 than Halloween 5 was. So I had Meeker, I had the drunk priest make a comeback. I had this great scene where the priest was essentially blinded by Michael Myers. He's wandering in a house and he can't see. So you can see like Michael like looking at him through the doorways and stuff, but he's just wandering through the Myers house. And he has no idea where he is. So Michael's just toying with him here or there. There was a lot of stuff that I thought of back in the day. And then when I finally saw a lot of the other fan films, a lot of them were doing it. It's like, shit, rip a bunch of people off.
Movie Chat More gave a super chat. Thank you so much. He said H4 reshot with a deep fake 78 mask.
Nope. I actually like the H4 mask. H4 looks different.
I mean, they would have gone that route. Had the mask been located, but unfortunately,
those
nobody knew where it
were
went.
Kirk's. Those masks were down post Kirk's.
Yes, they were. Absolutely.
A lot of people don't know that those are authentic Kirk masks. They just had to be converted quickly on the set that night
Yep.
And that's why they look like that. Because everybody remembers the school scene where it's pink with white hair.
That was a Kirk mask.
There was, they weren't necessarily the Kirk molds, but they didn't do like the traditional Kirk finish. The finishing company mistook them what they wanted, so they finished them with pink flesh and bright white hair. They got 4 masks on set. They open up the trunk, and they're like, what the hell is this? This isn't right. So the production designer had to quickly go just convert them in like a few minutes to like chunkily like spray paint them with this crappy white paint and paint black and brown in the hair. That's why it looks like that. But
yeah, I thought
the H4 mask looks kind of like just different enough to make him look not human. I always assumed like the H4 version of Michael Myers is as close as we would get as to like a mannequin coming to life and just like coming after you. He doesn't walk human. It's like Michael's been dead for a very long time, and the shape is just trying to animate the body in the way he thinks that a human walks and moves. That's why he walks like that, and why he just doesn't look right as a character.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't have to look perfect to be scary. It's just, if every single movie had the same look and the same mask and the same coveralls, what fun would that be? There'd be no difference in collecting.
Yeah. It also would make sense.
No.
I was gonna say, I tell people if they really want a good look at what the H4 blank really would have been before it was altered stuff is HG. Like HG, he puts out blanks of the Kirk of like the H4 Kirks, and they look like what it would look like when they showed up to the production studios for H4 when they were all pink looking and stuff. So I tell people all the time, like, you want to know what it looks like it is a Kirk. It's not exactly like Dallas said from 75 mold, but it is a Kirk mask. If you look at HG's blanks, that's exactly what it would have been. Just
Yeah.
What they look detail because it wouldn't have the extra paint.
Yeah. HG has some crazy, yeah. He's another one I would like to own a piece from.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me double check here. Someone asked, do I have a Freddy glove? I do. It's in between Freddy and Jason right there. It's just chilling behind the back. It's actually a NECA Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. And it's actually pretty badass, and I got it for super cheap. It's pretty awesome. All right, so we've been going for an hour and 42 minutes. We can go for, a couple more minutes? You guys have... Cool. I'm going to use the restroom, and I'll be back.
Go right ahead, man.
I'll go through, and I got some stuff that I pulled out. I got some things that I posted on Facebook earlier. I showed you already, Trevor. But I came across these enlarged BTS photos that my boss at my second job, my day job, he used to be an executive at Anchor Bay Entertainment, the company who produced VHS and DVDs and all kinds of stuff. So some of these images were stuff that he said that they would have used to make the special effects, like photos, like the photo like reels in the DVDs and stuff. So I've got the one with PJ Souls and Tommy Lee Wallace, and then I've got another one of Jamie Lee Curtis smiling inside the closet during the closet scene while she's got a bunch of blood all over her.
Man, it's so awesome.
They were dug out of his basement, and the original photo credit is Kim Walker. I guess that's who took the actual photos on set that day.
Oh, wow. That's insane. That's crazy. I wish I knew people like that worked on like sets and stuff.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. You see, like Sean Clark's got so much stuff, and
dude, that guy's got the hookups. He's like so
got so much access. Like,
it's like how, man. It's like how. I wish I was at his level. Like I love horror films, man, but that dude, he knows everybody. Everybody. He's met everybody. It's insane. I just wish I could have. Yeah.
Another thing I ended up picking up used was the novelization. I got a good copy of that.
I've been meaning to pick up the
novelization. I haven't started reading into it too much. The book's kind of old, so I don't want to like open it up too much. But it's got an interesting like extra detail about Michael and like
like his motive and stuff. Yeah,
I was
reading
like
about it. Like I've never read the actual book, but I've read like Just basically the basic plot line, like the extra stuff they added in, like how his grandfather was like he snapped and killed people, and like the whole the whole Celtic like Samhain thing. That was interesting. I wish they could have added that in the film, but at the same time, it's like I like the mystery effect. That's why I didn't like Rob Zombie's remake. Like everyone's all hyped up about it, yada yada yada. But to me, it's like I read the same story in the news. Like kid goes, like he lives in an abusive household, snaps, kills people, ends up going to prison or mental hospital.
Now,
like, I
the
don't
Rob
know.
Zombie movies, I have a big love-hate relationship with. Let me see if I can find it on here. But I basically swore off watching the two movies by themselves. There's a cut of this I'm trying to find. But somebody took... Oh, it's Cole Edits on YouTube. It's a different one. He re-uploaded and re-edited the same thing. But essentially, a guy named Cole Edits on YouTube took Halloween 1 and 2 from Rob Zombie and smashed them into one movie. One super fan cut. And it goes for about like an hour and 43, but it's a super quick pace. They cut out like almost all of the initial stuff with Michael being like trailer trash in the beginning of it. It's just bam, boom, 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 and it goes through, and it's such a better version. The guy uses music from 2018. He uses original music. He gets rid of almost all of the Rob Zombie score.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know the name of him.
He tacked the H2 dream sequence on to the ending of the first Rob Zombie movie from 2007. So it's kind of like a little more like cohesive story from the end of that. But it's the only way I'll watch the movie from now on. Like, I just don't want to watch the Rob Zombie cuts of it because the fan cut is, in my opinion, far superior than the actual cut of the movie.
Yeah.
You don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween?
I like the fan cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween. I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween.
I love it. I love that movie.
See,
I don't. I
like the back half of the movie. Like, I don't hate the choices that he made for like his background and stuff. I hate the execution of like the script. I don't like the rapiness of it. Like, there are certain tropes that Rob Zombie has in his movies that just do not belong in a Halloween film. And
it's shock value though. Like, I got in a discussion with somebody because like people, I've seen posts around saying, horror films don't need to have rape scenes. Well, the thing is, it's shock value. Just like how when Michael, I tell people all the time, go back to the original Halloween. Michael killed the Wallace's dog. Who does that? Who kills an animal? Who's evil enough to do that? Him. And then like certain characters, who's evil enough to do that to another human being? And that's what creates a character's person. That it gives you an understanding of how brutal some of these characters are.
But that wasn't necessarily that character because it wasn't Michael doing that. I'm specifically talking about the scene where the two guys rape the one other patient in front of Michael, and it's just a totally like why are we doing this? Like the traditional jailbreak scene that they shot where he breaks out and kills everybody. It's just such a better version of that. Like, why did they have to do this extra version of it? Yeah. It has nothing to do with
brutal. It's the same dude that came out of the House of 1,000 Corpses, the fucked up things in those, Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell.
Yeah.
See, those movies are his movies, but like he created those universes, so I think he can do whatever he wants with those universes.
Right.
I feel like if he's doing a Halloween movie, he should have like known that there were a few things that are just like for the Halloween series. There's just things you don't need, like you can be extreme. You don't need a couple of things that he decides to do in these movies. Like,
but it's Rob Zombie though. I mean, it's just his, like, it was his remake. Like, John Carpenter gave him the go ahead to do it as it, and he just added his touch to it.
The fact that H2 is nothing but a gigantic spite movie that, like, everything that he hated about the reception from H1 is reflected in H2. That why Loomis is such a dick as a reporter and journalist, because all the reporters and journalists were being dicks to Rob Zombie after the release of the first one. Like, all of that stuff, Rob just said, fuck you, and threw it right at the screen. And H2 came out of it. And H2 is something else. Like,
Movie chat
I like
more. Oh, sorry. What was it?
I was like, I like the original idea that he was trying to do for H2. But again, like, I just think some parts of it were just like uncharacteristically too extreme to be a Halloween.
Like a supernatural element to it. Like I didn't enjoy that. It's like there's nothing. Like like Michael Myers is supposed to have a supernatural element, but not to the point where he's like found his dead mother like hallucinating. And it's like that just gets wacky. It's trying too hard. You're reaching, man. Like I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Movie chat more dropped a super chat. Thank you so much. He says off topic, but good vibes about It's Me Billy. Now I don't know if you two know what It's Me Billy is. It's a fan film. It's
Like Christmas.
Yes, yeah, correct. Yeah, so it's an unofficial sequel to the film 50 years later or something. And I'm pretty excited. You know, I hope Dave does well. I mean, it looks beautiful. He shot it on a beautiful camera. Has a great crew and cast and everything. So wish him all the best.
I like it.
It looks fucking cinematic, dude. Like, it looks good.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to like actually watch the trailer. I saw something about it, but Black Christmas was like, it was good. It was a good idea. That wasn't something that stuck with me.
And Carpenter got some inspiration from that film and put it into the 78 and.
Now, one of my favorite old movies is if you have Shudder, look up the movie Prowler. I believe it's from 1981. Yep. That is an interesting, really interesting, like standalone slasher movie that has like all of the best tropes.
I wish something went. I wish it went further than it did. I wish it. I agree with you.
But the iconic scene, like the scene with the chop, like the hedge clippers, just like I just remember like that like scene in particular is like always gonna stick with me because like the music was really good. It was just like. It just went like it's like, oh, we're at a nice day at the lake, and then oh nope, there's like 6 bodies, everybody's decapitated.
Yeah, that was
like all happening right now.
That was a very underrated film, I think, in my opinion. Prowler was a very underrated film, so I agree. I wish they went further with that series.
It's been a long time since I've seen
with that film. Series.
Fucking bring back Slumber Party Massacre. Let's do it.
Yeah.
There's like 5 of those, aren't there? Like 4 of them or something.
Maybe up to 5. Like I watched the first 3. They get progressively worse, as you could expect. But I'm gonna watch them anyway. If you guys want something awful to watch, you guys remember the old Driller Killer movies, right?
Yes.
It's a guy with a drill. Well,
yeah.
Recently, I can't remember who it was, but somebody in Detroit, around where I'm at, made the Detroit Driller Killer movie, and it is chef's kiss awesomely bad. So I suggest anyone check out Detroit Driller Killer if you're looking for just a great movie-going experience. It's the best.
I totally thought you were going to say there was an actual killer in Detroit fucking drilling people.
There probably is.
It is Detroit.
I was actually
wrong.
I was watching Slumber Party Massacre. I want to say it was a week or 2 ago. And I don't know why I kept telling myself this, but I was like, dude, John Bernthal would have played this part so great. I don't know why. I just kept thinking John Bernthal in my head.
Well, then you get to like the first one.
You guys watch Sopranos?
The what?
Sopranos.
Either of you two watch Sopranos?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh man, there's actually a film that HBO's coming out with that dates back to like Tony Soprano's dad's like time, and John Bernthal is actually playing his father, and the guy. The guy that played Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini, his son is actually going to be playing Tony Soprano back in the 70s. Looks exactly. It's scary how much they look like. It's insane.
That's interesting.
But yeah, John Bernthal going to be Tony Soprano. It's going to be sick. I can't wait for it. It's just one of the non-horror wise, like that's one of the films I'm definitely waiting for coming out next year. That's another thing. I like crime dramas, like stuff to do with like the mob and stuff. Like I'm from New York, like not like New York City, like Central New York, but like there's still like activity that's going on. Like in like New York, there's like mob activity that happened back in like the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. So like
that's nuts.
Like
same
even though I have in New York City, same with Detroit. Yeah, like the Chicago outfit, Al Capone and shit like that. Like I know that was Chicago, but like they were still reached like Jimmy Hoffa, all those guys.
Yeah. Movie chat and more. Thanks again for the super chat. He says he's just started live videos. Spread the word, James. Well, guys, everyone who's in here right now, go to Movie Chat and More's channel. Show him some love. Check out his live videos. Hit him with a subscribe. You know, let's help each other out in this community. You know, let's show each other some love. You know, thank you so much, Movie Chat and More. I appreciate it. Guys, we've been going for an hour and 55 minutes and 19 seconds. We have we have 4 more minutes left. Is there anything you guys would like to end this with? Oh, actually, no. I have a couple questions. I have a question for you guys. What is I'm not going to ask who your favorite rehaul artist is, but what is your favorite sculpt in the hobby?
Sorry.
Sorry.
So many great ones that are coming there. Out of all of mine and my personal, I'll say from my personal collection, out of my favorite sculpts, I would have to say probably my next 75K. Like this thing is like it's good. People ask all the time like the details on it and stuff. Like people debate like the accuracy of it. I'm like, if you look at some angles, like it looks like straight out of the closet scene when Michael's trying to break it in the closet to get the lorry, like it's like that one angle. Looks exactly like that. So to me, for personal collection, I would say the 75K. Until I get my stretch Kirk, that thing's gonna be amazing.
Nice, good choice. What you, Dallas?
Yeah, I other than what I produce, I don't really own any like high end pieces. I owned a NAG 75K new mold special edition. I sold that probably like 6-8 months ago. Mm-hmm. The rest of my stuff is either stuff I've made or it's Tots masks. Like, I haven't found one mask that's like, oh my god, I have to have this mold. It's more like the ones that I like, I own now. Like, I own the One Good Scare. That's one mask where I was like, wow, when I looked at that mold, I'm like, how is this not something that's been produced? When I looked at it and heard the story that, it was sculpted in like 03, Sean and Darren, didn't really like the overall like end product of it, so they just never released it. I was like, what the hell? Let me do this.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick like it, if I'm going to go for a Kirk mask, I'm probably going to look at, like, the original is going to be the best, like the 75 Don Post. Like, I like the original Don Post masks. Like, I'm studying, like, the original Don Post, like, lineage, things like that. I would just mostly credit, because all we're doing, everything we've all done, is just a derivative of Don Post Studios. So I would just say, like, give credit to that. Like, the sculptors there who originally did the original Kirk, we're all still doing what they initially did. So I got to give the credit there. Like the DP 75 Kirk from the original Don Post Studios is probably my favorite.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's a great one. I think what really got me into wanting a Michael, I mean, I've always wanted a Michael Myers mask, but I think the one mask that really like took me by the hand and let me enter this world was the CGP Warlock. Is it my favorite? Yep. I don't know if it's my favorite, but there's something about it that I just gravitate towards so much. Like, don't get me wrong, there's all these NAG pieces that are really great, and then you got the DIYs or GKYs, whatever you want to call it nowadays, and then you got like the H2SM, H1SM, you got Creep, and, all of that. But something about the Warlock just really, like, I don't know, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. That's
Terry
Warlock.
nailed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the recent copies, like my copies, are like insane. Like I've gotten so many compliments on it. Like everyone's asking me, like, "What'd you ask for? What'd you like with that?" I literally just tell people, like, just ask screen accurate. He'll do it the best he can, and he delivers, man. I know like a lot of people talk about like Terry's past, like this, that, and the third, but it's kind of like, you know what? This is where we are now. Here we are. Like he's redeemed himself. Like he's at where he's at. He's still producing them. And it's kind of like he's got to deal with it. Like, I don't know. And so when it comes to like H2, I would have to say the Warlock's my favorite. It nailed that stretch and everything. So for sure, the Warlock, when it comes to H2s, yeah, Warlock nails it.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%. And then, we go into the H4s and HG, like we said earlier, and then you go to H5. I mean, if we want to talk about in my opinion, the best H5 ground up, I would say is Martin Pena's Revenge of the Fifth. Best ground up, yep. H5, but obviously, we got the SSN behind me, and then I got the KNB over there. So, but ground up, yeah. And then H6, I mean, you have you can't really tell because it's behind the H5. But I think that's a not a Wicked Red, but a Raining Red, I think it is. And it's funny because I was talking to Chris, and I have the German steel book with the lenticular cover, and he told me or informed me that like that was actually based off of that mask. So
that's nice.
Yeah,
That's
I really enjoy. As a side note, I enjoy the A. Michael Lerner image of H6 than the George Wilbur image of H6. You know, like a lot of people don't know about the reshoots and stuff. So like, there's like even like different versions of those masks if you're trying to achieve the reshoot look of it versus the original look from Wilbur.
Yeah, I'm a fan of A. Michael Lerner's portrayal. He was just a little bit more menacing. I love how he chases the dude. Is it like underground or something? I don't know what it is, but you know, it's his father in real life, and that guy he's chasing was actually stuntman for Halloween 4. I don't remember his name.
I think the guy George Wilbur said that. I think he was the stuntman who took the face, like he had like his face like smushed into the bars. Like it was like another guy running, and then George Wilbur cut and was the guy who was getting his head smashed against the grate before it was like pushed through and the door fell down.
Oh, really?
I think there's some DVD extra figures that George Wilbur said that, like he like essentially was working with the guy who replaced him as Michael Myers, and it wasn't the best experience.
It makes sense. He was a stunt man, so
he was just doing different stunts on the movie when they ended up doing the reshoots.
Did not know that.
But so another thing, do you guys prefer? We're talking about H6 real quick. Producer's cut or theatrical cut?
Producers. Anything. So with me, when it comes to films, I like director's cut because that really gets out the director's image of what they want. Like for me, like Dawn of the Dead, there's like 20 million fucking other cuts, but for me, the director's cut, it's longer. It shows what it's supposed to be, like how it's supposed to be edited. Because directors, they don't like realistically, like with directors, they don't get to do shit. Like at the final end of their product, like they can't do anything with their stuff. But when like I said, when a director's cut comes out, that's their image. That's what they wanted to see with it. That's what they wanted to do with it. So that for me, I like producer's cut, director's cut, like some like the cut where that didn't make it because it was either too much, it was something that somebody somewhere didn't agree with, they didn't know shit about what they were talking about, or because simply it's just how studios work. Mm-hmm. So director's cut, that's all raw material.
I'm gonna pick theatrical cut. And this is why, because in the producer's cut, Michael fucks Jamie, right? And it's like, and like, bro, like, okay, so check this out. It's not even only that Jamie's 15 years old at this point; she's a minor, but that's his niece, bro.
Yeah, like I think that
I do like the ambiguous atmosphere that the theatrical cut gives, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, that one did fuck up a little bit. I'll admit, for sure. I forget about that.
She's all, please don't hurt me, Michael. And it's like, oh no, I'm just gonna penetrate you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hurt him that bad. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, holy
bro,
fuck.
Can you picture Michael Myers taking off his coveralls and just going, like, doing his thing on a table full of...
Hey, you guys all watch this. I'm gonna keep the mask on. Just do 1 second.
I couldn't even imagine being someone on the set, just like this.
Are we doing this? Is this a Halloween movie?
Like, did anyone even watch the original films? Like, why are we at this point right now? Like, this is ridiculous. Who came up with this idea? You're fucking fired.
Were they gonna have it so, you know, because Kara Strode in the producer's cut, she's on the table, right? She's all dressed up in their gown or whatever. Was Michael gonna do her too?
Probably.
He's pimping all over in that movie, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That I don't like when they do weird shit like that. The films is like, come on, man. You could have came up with such a better idea. Like, you're really focusing too much on the shock value. Like, come on, tell the story.
How do you stop Michael Myers? Rocks.
Right, rocks. Yeah, rocks. The power of the thorn. He cuts himself, and I do like Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle.
I appreciate that the producer's cut exists and that it's a different attempt, but I clearly understand why they wanted reshoots for that movie, because it's just like...
Yeah, that one I didn't really think about too much, for sure. Yeah, I probably thought about that one.
It's like, when you look at like this, it's like, is this really the Halloween movie like you would want to watch? Like, I mean, if you're looking at, like, if you saw the producer's cut in theaters, would you walk out going, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Oh yeah, sure.
Versus watching the original theatrical cut, where you're just like, it wasn't a great Halloween movie, but it wasn't terrible. You know, it was a serviceable Halloween.
like
I said, like the theatrical, like the theatrical cut was more ambiguous. Like they left off like when Loomis unmasked Michael, like all that other stuff. Like I like that aspect for sure.
And then the Halloween 3 reference that they had in there, which no one was ever like sure of, that in the end of it, when Paul Rudd smashes him in the face, that green stuff that comes out, I assume was supposed to be a reference to Halloween 3, because maybe Michael had been turned into something like the cyborgs or beings in Halloween 3 that were just like agents and they would just go kill people. So like there was that whole thing where like, what the hell is going on with that? And then just Loomis gets the most unfortunate ending ever with that weird baby scream, and then that's the last thing he ever did.
Yeah.
And then the producer's cut, Wynn grabs him, and he grabs him by his arm, and the thorn symbol comes on, and he's like, "It's your game now, Loomis." And it's, we should do a Assholes with Opinions producer's cut versus theatrical cut one of these days, and kind of dive into the positives and the negatives.
We also should do an official ranking of the entire series.
I'm super down.
Yeah, I mean, number one for me, like I said, H2, 1981. So I'll just say that off the bat. Like that's my number one. I don't know. I just love everything about it, from like the look of the mask to like the atmosphere of it. That's what I really look for, like in films, like the atmosphere, how it's filmed. If it's rushed, if it's not rushed. Like some films are definitely rushed.
An extra question: what's the one you watch the most? Because I find myself popping in H4 the most, even though I like 78. I'm like, man, I could really go for some H4 right now. That's what I always end up putting in the most, is my copies of H4.
Well, I have Shudder, so like Shudder on there, they have H1, H4. Out of those three, I'd probably say H1, then H4 comes second. H5 is like kind of whatever to me. I kind of wish they kind of just left H4 where it was at, like just a cliffhanger of an ending with Jamie being probably a potential killer or something like that. You wouldn't know because they didn't make another film after that, but because of fan demand, they just wanted to make another film for money, and it turned out being a flop because it just wasn't good like the fourth one. But yeah, in that order, I'd probably immediately now I would say H1, H4, but like H2 out of all of them for me, it's just number one.
I find myself watching the first, the fourth, and the sixth the most. Okay. Well, Rob Zombie's Halloween, actually. Sorry, I'm only referring to the original series, not the Rob Zombie ones. But if we were to include Rob Zombies, it would be the Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, Part 4, then 1. But for not, it would be 1, 4, and 6.
All right, yeah, that's what I understand. That's fair.
Which is weird, right? Because we're just talking shit about Halloween 6.
Yeah. Well, no, we weren't talking shit about Halloween 6. We were talking shit about the producer's cut and the creepy shit that went on in that cut. We weren't really shit overall. We were trying to point out the rapey stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, H6 is good in its own right, for sure.
It is.
Like you said, I wish Paul Rudd came back as Tommy Doyle for Halloween Kills, but at the same time, Anthony Michael Hall, like that's good. That's gonna be good. Like Breakfast Club Kid, like that's gonna be good. Like
I'm excited for that.
I don't know. It's better than Brian Andrews. Not to really talk shit about him, but unfortunately, like the dude can't act. He just can't. I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry, Brian, if you're watching this at any point, but sorry, dude.
We love you, Brian.
I'm not the only that like we got love for you in the 78, but when it comes to like your time's passed, that shit sailed, man.
Yeah, it did. And I've seen some posts of this from him on Facebook, and sometimes I'm like, "Oh, Brian, I hope you're okay in life, my man." I wish you well.
Yeah, I know exactly what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah,
too.
you know.
Like,
okay, cool. I'm glad you know.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I fully know. Unfortunately, I do know.
Unfortunately.
Like I said, not talking about the dude, but like it's kind of like unfortunately, like I don't think he's seen much work since 1978. So it's like I'm not. Am I really the asshole? I'm just a fan that's just giving some criticism. That's it, really.
You're just an asshole with an opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how we do.
Never get mad if you
circle
look at the title.
right here.
Yeah, it's all fun. We have love. We have love.
I don't give a shit.
It's
Like I said, I'm not the only one. There's probably thousands of other people that feel the same way. As like, go ahead and attack me. Go ahead, but whatever.
Bro, I've seen some
So
people
I was more
comment.
behind me. That's the same fucking way.
I've seen people comment on his posts, bro, and some people are ruthless, dude.
Dude, yeah. I'm like, you know what? At least I can be at that level. I'm just gonna say something right now since I'm on a public platform, but I'm not gonna go too hard with it. But buddy, I'm gonna be straight up with it. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Kind of can't fucking act, man. All right, you make it. You are the weakest link.
You're the weakest link. Yeah, you've been voted off the island. Okay, guys. Well, I do apologize. We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I don't want to cut this short. Unfortunately, in 19 minutes, I have a table read with a new actress we have on the
No,
film.
you're good.
But this was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun today, guys.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
This is good. I like this. This is good, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, it
For
was.
sure, it's a good time.
So we are planning on doing this every Wednesday at I believe it's 5 o'clock. I'm gonna wait to see what my schedule looks like because I start my new job next Monday. But I'm looking at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we want to do this a weekly kind of thing. So super cool. Stay tuned for whatever we are going to be doing next. I'm not sure yet, but we have a lot to talk about. So it's good stuff.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. I had a good time on here tonight, man. It was nice meeting you, Alex. Alex. I don't know why I said Alex. Well, because you got Alexander in your name, I got dyslexic for like 0.2 fucking seconds.
That's no problem. Thanks for having me on tonight, guys. It was good.
Hell yeah.
It's super good. Yeah, no, I really appreciate everyone who came out today to listen to us talk about the Myers community and hobby. We talked more about the mask part of it rather than the movies, but that's okay. This was fun all around. It was super fun, and I love speaking about this stuff with people who are like minded, and it's really awesome. Thanks guys for coming out. Thanks for you guys for being here. Well, you're. Thanks for being our guest here, Dallas. I mean, that was super awesome, and we'd like to have you on again for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Anytime you guys got some time, just let me know and I'll hop on.
I have a feeling that this is going to be a lot of Halloween content with this one.
Probably.
Oh yeah. At least probably the first couple episodes. You can't cover everything in one episode. It's just kind of impossible. So I'm down to discuss for the next week. I don't give a shit. So whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's always something to talk about with the hobby from mass to the movie. So whatever.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for everyone for coming out. We will see you soon. This Sunday will be a live watch along at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time for Scream, which will be the debut episode of Silence Your Cell Phones. But anyways,
Hell
guys.
yeah.